John Wick Chapter 4, son. I mean, it's already insane. The cast lineup we already have. There's Henry Sonata, Donnie Yen, Scott Adkins, Marco Zaror. So when you got the call that you were going to be in this movie, did you go crazy? Let's go. Let's get it. Get it. Oh, there he is. Go.
Holy shit.
Noise.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, you guys are pumped. You better be pumped, goddammit.
Noise.
What is going on? We're just gonna put it there. And we will put the earbuds back on for a little bit later when we have a special ranked video that we're gonna play for you guys. We have some special guests, but don't rank yet. Don't do your ranking. We're gonna wait.
Some people have started.
It's fine. You could do it. You could redo it later. But don't rank yet. When you guys see the ranked logo and video start and the video starts playing, that's when you put in your ranking, because I want to put your ranking on the screen because I want to see what you guys ranked one of the most badass action martial arts movie franchises of all time, the John Wick franchise, baby. What's going on, all my beautiful badasses out there? It's your boy, PhatSamuraiGuy. Back again with another Movie Dojo episode. It's been a while. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we got it's all good. I'm gonna keep them coming. But we got Lady Fat Blood. That's right. Hanging out today, sporting the Cowboy Bebop Pulp Fiction shirt, because that's how we roll. Anime and movie nerds unite. But what's going on? Let's see who is here in the heezy, man, before we get started in our spoiler discussion with John Wick Chapter 4. Who do we have here tonight? What is going on? We got Jake Hall. We gonna do the roll call, baby. Finkster, what's going on? Crystal Moon, Goddess, what's cracking? Lady Danish, Peter in the house, NSG. Oh yeah, who else we got here? Oh, there he is, Kevin, KL's Entertainment Reviews. That's right. And go Jake Hall again. Who else we got? First Power 100. Yes. I like what he says here. The John Wick universe are comic book movies for adults, and I love all 4 films. That's it. I like that. All right. Who else we got up in here? Bishop Man 2. How do? Who else we got here? Brian Sanchez. We got Jim Bob. What's up, gangsters? Jim Bob. What's going on? He goes, noise shirt. And of course, I'm gonna repeat the Finksternator. There he is. What's going on, brother? Yeah. He's dueling our live stream. And the sexy sumo is here. The king is in. Let the fun begin. What is going on? So don't forget, this is a spoiler discussion for John Wick Chapter 4. Look at it. Justin, he's like, I already watched it 3 times this week. I got buddies that have watched the 4th movie like 5 times. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. Thank you. More awesome people chiming in. That's right. And now I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to kick it off. It is such a nice time right now to be a fan of action and martial arts movies. It's a great time right now. In terms of mainstream audience appeal. It is a great time right now. RRR came out of nowhere. Boom. Right? Changed a lot of people's eyes and how we view that genre, right? It
was my first. What do you mean?
What do you mean it was my first?
It changed a lot of.
Well, we respect the genre, their genre, but we didn't take.
Pointing at me like it was just me.
No, I went like this.
Okay.
I went like this.
From here, it looked like this one over here.
No, I meant
Fuck
like
this bitch.
And RRR, we love that. And then out of nowhere, Everything Everywhere All at Once brought that Kung Fu Electric Boogaloo back. And now we have John Wick. Of course, that won a lot of awards for the Academy Awards, and props to Michelle Yeoh and Marshall Club and all that. But now we got John Wick Chapter 4, just kicking it into a high gear, turning things up all the way past fucking 11. Okay. And what I mean is it's a great time right now because we're talking about mainstream appeal, mainstream audiences movies that have done well in the theater, blockbusters, okay? And it's so nice to see that. And I was talking to my brother from another mother, Rick Myers, yesterday on the Action Film Autopsy. Make sure you guys check it out. Check that video out. And I said it was so nice to be in a packed theater again, a full packed theater again. And you're sitting next to other people watching a guy use nunchucks on screen, and the audience loves it. They're reveling in it. When was the last fucking time that happened? Go. I'm talking about mainstream audience and mainstream releases.
And let's put that emphasis
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's put that emphasis on, especially in the US.
Yes.
Because
more so here than anywhere else.
Right. Because when it comes to martial arts action flicks, we seem to be on board for a while. You know, there was the craze in the late 60s and 70s, a la Bruce Lee, and then the kung fu craze like just blew up in the 70s.
Yeah.
Kind of went a little underground. You know, you had your theaters here and there. You can go to theaters and see kung fu movies for days.
Black Belt Theater, son.
Right. And it kind of, you know, the 80s kind of had its heyday a little bit. You know, you had your Jean-Claude Van Damme's and whatnot. Well, and then in the 90s, it seemed
martial arts was big in the 80s.
Yeah. It seemed like in the 90s, it turned into more of action movie instead of martial arts.
Yeah, like, cheers, everybody watching right now. Cheers. Thank you so much.
And it seemed like
for hanging out.
Martial arts kind of seemed a little blasé. And it seemed to go underground in terms of straight to video territory. Right. And that's where we've been enjoying, if we're not going overseas, in other words, we're not renting movies from overseas, that's where we're having to get our fix. We're having to go to the B movie section and get our movie straight from video to get our martial arts action fix. And in the States is what I'm talking about. Yeah. And it's,
I mean, we did it, you know, there were some martial arts movies that did well in the early 90s. But when you get the late 90s, early 2000s.
What do we have? Mortal Kombat?
Street Fighter, goddammit. Street Fighter. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, Matrix 1999, that kind of changed things, you know. It put eyes on Hong Kong cinema again. It shined the light. Crouching Tiger, that was another big hit over here. Open the eyes up for casuals who've never experienced the wuxia genre before. Things for the most part, it's always an up and down thing, but it's mostly action, especially the past maybe 10 years. You're going to get your martial arts fix, but it's going to be in an action movie, which is fine, but it's nice to see, you know, love for both genres and a mixture nowadays. It's nice to see that, man. I mean, come on. Even we love the Raid. We love the Raid 2. We were so fortunate to. I mean, I got the Raid 2 poster back here, son. Okay, we were so fortunate to be lucky enough to see both of those movies in theater over here. But let's be honest, there was like 5-10 people in the theater. Yeah, you know, and those movies deserved a bigger audience. There's a lot of respect for those films now. Everyone loves and praises those movies now. But when they came out in theater over here, we were first in line. We were actually for the other 5 people. It was actually
a miracle that it was even in our area.
Yes.
Movies like that, they just don't. Yeah. They don't resonate well.
Right.
At least they didn't.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some good stuff here and there. You said Bishop Man says Ninja Assassin, and there's definitely some great stuff here and there, especially when you go to the indie scene, the smaller budgeted thing. Oh, what's up, Omni Blast? Good to see you. There's been some great martial arts movies, but I'm talking mainstream appeal, guys. Okay, Ninja Assassin did not make $1 billion in theater. Okay, even though I like Ninja Assassin, I'm talking about mainstream appeal. People need to be reminded, goddammit. They need to be reminded how special the martial arts and the action genre is. They need to be reminded, and that's why we champion the John Wick franchise. That's why we're behind it. Because people, you know, not everyone's a fan of it. To each his own. I've seen some interesting comments on people talking about John Wick Chapter 4, and there's a lot of people, believe it or not, probably less than more, that are disappointed with John Wick Chapter 4. Oh, hold on, we got a super chat here. Mr. King Palma, thank you so much for the super chat, you legend. He goes, for those who grew up in the 80s and 90s watching the John Woo and Charlie and Fat movies, will appreciate the John Wick movies even more for sure. Very well said. Very well said, my friend. Hell, The Killer, Hard Boiled, What's going on? What are you laughing at?
There's a certain comment
Okay,
in the chat that kind of just tickled me.
She loves the lipstick.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Let's see. But yeah. Oh, this has been brought up. You are not the first, NSG. This is not the first. A lot of the Movie Dojo Army has been hitting up Samurai Guy. They want to see the Raid 2 versus John Wick Chapter 4.
We were actually
that might happen.
This. We were actually just talking about this in the middle of the week, and we had to like pause for a minute and go, ooh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Ooh.
I know who's gonna win. I know who's gonna win.
Yeah.
But no spoilers yet.
Yeah.
But you guys stay tuned for that. I'm gonna pitch that to the Versus crew. We're gonna have some fun. But yeah, it's a great time to be an action and martial arts movie fan right now. Let's put some respect on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with loving the superhero genre. We are big fans of DC, Marvel, or superhero movies in general if they're good.
When they respect the audience.
If they're good.
When they respect the audience.
We are fans, okay? But man, the action cinema, again, put that respect back on that goddamn name. Martial arts and action cinema.
Yeah.
It's time for a comeback.
Yeah.
It's time, goddamn it. Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's have some fun, guys. Thanks again for chiming in for John Wick Chapter 4. Oh yeah. So right off the bat, so I'm gonna blow your mind right now, like Rick Myers blew mine yesterday. He blew my mind. Rick's take on the John Wick Chapter 4 movie is very interesting. It's very fascinating. Rick brought up the fact that in the beginning, when our boy here, Fish, the Bowery King,
long live the king.
Long live the king. When he came in and did his whole speech while he was walking towards John Wick, while John Wick was training, Rick said, he goes, why does that whole dialogue sequence, sound really familiar? Those words sound really familiar. And he was thinking about it. And Rick said, holy shit, that dialogue was in Dante's Inferno. And if you guys remember the story of Dante's Inferno, that's a guy who's basically in hell, being guided by someone, and he has to survive the 9 levels, the 9 circles of hell to find peace. Rick pointed out the fact that there's 9 action set pieces in this movie. So Rick just blew my mind yesterday. I was like, oh my God, that's fucking awesome. That is brilliant.
So what he's saying...
But it's brilliant, but go ahead.
So what he's saying is that he died at the end of 3.
Rick's take on 4 is that John Wick 3 died after he got shot and fell off the building of the Continental.
In 3.
Right, at the end of the 3rd movie. So John Wick Chapter 4, John Wick is in hell, fighting his way through the 9 levels of hell to find peace at the end. That blew my fucking mind. But do you need to view John Wick that way to enjoy it? No. But I feel I can speak in English. I'm excited right now. I'm talking about John Wick Chapter 4. I'm goddamn excited. Do you have to think that way to enjoy the movie? No, you could just go in and have some fun. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Now, again, as much as we love John Wick Chapter 3, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good with 3. I enjoy 3 for what it is. There's issues we have with 3. We already talked about it. But one of my main issues was him getting thrown off the building. Because up to that point, I was willing to suspend my disbelief. He goes through glass 10 times, he gets hit by a car 8 times, fine. He doesn't reload a lot, fine. I'm having a good time. So who cares, right? But when he got thrown off the building at the end, even I in the theater, as much as I love John Wick 3, even I in the theater was like, okay, we're reaching video game level, like, character status now. And that kind of, I was like, ugh, it kind of hurt my experience a little bit with 3. There's a lot of extreme over-the-top stuff happen in this. Oh, yeah, of course. Falling down the steps multiple times, jumping out of the window and falling down 2 floors of the building on the van.
He gets hit by multiple vehicles.
He gets hit by more cars like 10 times.
Gets thrown through a lot of plate glass again.
Yeah. There's a lot of extreme stuff happens in this as well. But to me, nothing compares to getting thrown off the top of the goddamn Continental building.
Right.
As extreme as stuff happens to John in this, nothing still reaches that level of absurdity. But here's the thing. Could you say that his character by the end of 3, when he falls off the building, reached video game level status? Could you say that? Yes. Is that a benefit for the movie? Could be. Does that hurt the franchise? It could. But I didn't want that to happen to the character. But here's the thing. When you have so much ambition and passion and creativity and a lot of hard work goes into these action set pieces, and you're having so much fun, I could give a goddamn care less. I could care less.
I think what
and if you're gonna go full video game, but it's entertaining, that's how you do it. Unlike another action movie that people label that it's a great video game movie, and that's Carter, which I fucking hate. And if you want to know why I hate that movie, check out my in detail review of Carter. Check it out. Carter, you could say, oh, it's great because it's a video game movie. No. Look at John Wick Chapter 4. You could say the same thing about John Wick Chapter 4, but the characters are entertaining. The story is entertaining. You actually give a shit of what's happening. And the action set pieces are like top that. Rest of the action movies by the end of the year, good luck.
Yeah.
Any other action movies that come out the rest of the year, good luck. That's what these action set pieces were trying to do. Right. They were trying to just if we're going out with a goddamn bang.
Yeah.
All right. But no slight to those that love Carter. I talked to a lot of people that are my friends that like Carter. I'm sorry, is it Carter? I think it's Carter.
What movie are you talking about?
I think it's Carter.
What's Carter?
Hold on. I want to make sure here because I'm passionate right now, guys.
What is Carter?
I am passionate. Hold on. I may have got the name wrong. Hold on. But yeah, go ahead. Go as you were saying.
Well, what I was saying was that the first John Wick was a sleeper hit.
Yes.
Back in 2000.
People forget that.
Back in 2014. That movie came out.
Yes, it's Carter. I'm right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I haven't seen the movie, so
it's
I
fine.
have no idea
it's
what
fine.
you're referencing.
Okay.
Sorry. The first John Wick was a sleeper hit. Not the biggest budget.
Yeah, people forget that the first movie was not a huge, gigantic blockbuster.
And I'd only seen the movie once. And when we did our John Wick-a-thon the weekend prior to John Wick 4 coming out, I had forgotten Willem Dafoe was in the movie. That's how bad it was. It's like I remember loving the first John Wick.
Yeah.
I remember adoring that movie, but there was just so many details that I had forgotten. I remembered the bulk of it, but there were just some things that had slipped my mind. Like I forgot how many people were actually in that movie.
Yeah.
But I when I rewatched it, I was like, wow, this movie, it's just so it's a bit fanciful with its fighting, but it's grounded. Right. There's a lot of grounded fight choreography and gunplay in that first movie. And what does the second movie does? It comes along, it takes the grounded bits that John Wick had, expanded on it slightly, but it expanded the world.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But it still had that grounded feeling to it in a lot of aspects.
Yes.
What did 3 do? 3 took everything that 2 had and fucking ran to the moon with it.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
And brought in more martial arts type fight choreography too.
3 was the one that really was like, okay, we're going to start having, we got Mark Dacascos, we got some people from Indonesia, we got some
Yayan, CSEP.
Yeah, we got some, we got that crazy knife fight at the beginning,
which was very Jackie Chan-esque.
Right.
But it was awesome.
We have a little more toys in the sandbox, and we're going to start playing a little bit, having some more fun. Yeah. All the things that we loved growing up watching, we're going to start bringing more of that in. We want more. This movie, it went into another universe.
Yeah.
Even though like I had said in our spoiler-free review, I felt like John Wick 3 went a little too far in some places. Right, and my hope was that they would kind of take what I loved about 2 and the things that I did like about 3 and marry the 2. And that's what it did. I still feel like John Wick 4 did go a little bit crazy because, like you said, 9 fights.
Yeah.
9 fights.
If they're 9, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
In what was the runtime? Like almost 3 hours.
The original runtime was almost
much
4
longer.
hours,
and you know what? Release that shit to 4K, and I will buy it.
Release the director's cut. Extended version.
I will if it makes sense. If it makes the movie even better, I will buy it. I will give you my money.
Yes. Put both versions on there. We'll buy it. Yeah. We'll buy it. Yeah. But but yeah, no, it is very well said.
So do you want to get into the movie?
Yeah, let's talk about the movie. So right in the beginning, we have I always wanted to see the Bowery King have an action scene.
Well,
but Fishburne is so good in this. He's so good. But he meets up with John. He got to give him them suits now.
This is the first movie that actually feels like it has a little bit of time passage.
Yes,
because 2 took place right after 1, 3 right after 2. This one, John had a little tumble at the end of 3,
right.
And he's been underground with the Bowery King and his people for a bit, and it's inferred. None of this is just outright said. You get a lot of inferences throughout this movie, and you see John training and hitting the
great sound design in this movie. Holy shit!
And
so good.
And the king comes in with his speech, and he's bringing him a new suit and all that. And we probably shouldn't, but you could create a drinking game to how many times Keanu Reeves says, "Yeah,
yeah." Do a drinking game for sure. But yeah, he's off to the races. There's tons of homages in this film that even we probably missed. I'm sure you guys have probably picked it up as well, but Rick Myers pointed out that before this action sequence here, we had a Lawrence of Arabia homage leading up to this action sequence. So talk about what's going on right here.
So if you remember in 3, John, for all the nonsense that happened in 2, he was basically on the table shitless because he conducted business on the grounds of the Continental.
Yeah.
He killed he killed the head of the family, and he's now excommunicado. So by 3, all the shitstorm that's going on, he goes to the one who sits above the high table.
Right.
And he basically goes,
the elder.
Yeah, the elder. And he basically goes like, I want to live to remember my wife, to preserve her memory.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, he has to re-swear his fealty to the table. So he cuts off his wedding ring. I mean, he cuts off his finger, gives the wedding ring to the elder, and basically he's now back in service to the table.
Right.
But as you know, by the end of 3, that kind of goes tits up anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
And so by 4, he's like, well, fuck it. If I'm fucked anyway, I'm going to go back to the elder, say, give me my goddamn ring back, and I want my freedom.
Yeah. We have a new elder now.
Yeah. And he goes, well, bro, I'm sorry, but your ring is gone. That elder's gone. Killing me ain't going to mean shit. So you've come all this way for nothing.
Yeah.
And John's like, not really. Blows the elder away.
Boom.
And of course, as one would expect, a new shitstorm develops from these happenings.
Yeah.
And the table is pissed.
Yeah.
And so they unleash this foppish new villain.
Yes.
In the form of the Marquis de Gramont, who goes immediately to New York, rounds up Winston and Chiron, and is like, okay, Winston, you're excommunicado. The Continental is that's it. It's gone. The table hates New York, hates your shenanigans.
Yeah.
You were taking your hotel.
They're blaming him for John Wick.
They
going
basically
crazy.
Like, you helped him, and Winston's like, I shot him, and he's like, yeah, well, he's still alive.
Yeah.
And of course, Chiron steps in and is like, yeah, but we're a reminder that that no one's above the law.
As soon as he started talking, I was like, he's dead.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it, Chiron.
An absolute unforeseeable.
Yeah.
An unforeseeable, horrible, just tragic twist of fate.
Yes.
After the building is the Continental is destroyed.
Right.
The Marquis goes to Winston. He's like, well, you're excommunicado, so you no longer need a concierge. And he points the gun at Winston, but then he goes up.
Boom.
And he kills Chiron.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sitting there in the theater going, wow, that's fucking eerie, because as you know, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right before John
Rest
Wick.
in power.
Before this movie comes out.
Yeah.
We lost another great one.
Yeah.
Because of course we fucking did.
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Because that's what the world needs right now, right?
Yeah. Rest in power.
So so Winston has this really just tragic, scene, the sad scene where he's like holding his hand, like, and he looks up and he's just like, okay, well,
He said, what did he say? It was a pleasure serving you, my
Right.
friend.
Right.
I love how he didn't really call him boss or sir, like while he died.
Yeah.
He said friend.
Yeah. And
I love how he did
and
that.
and you know,
and Winston's face, he's just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
But there was a reason why he didn't shoot Winston.
Right. And
And
later,
he shot Charon.
and basically, because he has the conversation with the king later, and he's like, yeah, why not just shoot you? And he's like, well, if you shoot me, I become a martyr.
Yeah.
But if you don't shoot me, you leave me alive, I'm either a coward or a turncoat.
Right. Yeah.
And there was this good dialogue where he's like, well, so what are you?
Yeah.
And Winston goes,
Fishburne's so good in this.
They're both so.
What did he say after he destroyed his hotel and he met up with
us homeless people got to stick together.
us homeless people got to stick together now.
Yeah. But Winston's like, he's about, so the king asks him, like, so what are you? And he goes, I'm aggrieved.
Yeah.
And you get the feeling, you can either infer it or maybe you just making it up. You get the feeling it's not just because he lost his hotel. You know, his friend was murdered, you know, and there's some really good scenes nodding to Chiron later that he wasn't just a nuke the fridge moment or a what is it, fridging somebody moment. That's what it's called, not nuke the fridge. Yep. It's fridging somebody, if I'm not mistaken, where you just kill a character just to fuck with the main character in a comic book. I think that's what it's called. You fridge somebody.
Okay.
Some people have had a problem with this. I read an article where somebody thought that Lance Reddick was done dirty in this movie. His character was done dirty, where he just got killed at the beginning and then he was just basically forgotten about. And I'm like,
it's like, dude, did you watch the rest of the movie?
I know the movie was long.
Did you watch the rest of the movie?
But did you miss the scene where they met up by the gravesite and Winston's clearly lighting a candle for his friend and he's clearly in mourning? Did you miss the really nice boat scene?
Yeah.
Where they were later, where all three of them are having a conversation and he's like, you know, when I was making the headstone for Chiron, I really didn't know what to say because friend, that just doesn't seem to sum up a whole man's life. It's like, did you miss all of that?
And it was brought up by Henry Sonata's character to let Wick know, and you had that scene there. Koji. And we had that scene there. So that was like 4 or 5 times his character was mentioned, and there was respect paid to him.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this other like big leaguer reviewer guy, you know, to each his own. If you didn't like the movie, fine. But he was just like, oh, they shit all over his character and they just forgot about him for the rest of the movie. 0 stars. And I'm like, did you watch the rest of the movie?
Yeah, I know. I think some people.
Did you just turn it off because you were angry? Being angry that his character died is different than completely shitting on the entire movie and not watching the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because clearly there were like 4 or 5 times the movie stopped and paid respect.
Yeah.
To Chiron's character.
Some people, I think they see one thing and they just forget about everything else. And I think I know the Chiron character, he was kind of like that side backbone to the Continental in 1 and 2. You always knew he was a presence, let me put it that way.
Oh yeah.
And then by 3, he kind of like took over half of the end of the movie with John Wick during the shootout.
They gave him a little bit more to do in 3.
When they were defending the Continental.
Which was cool. Yeah.
So I know that the character became a lot more important and a lot of people really, a lot of people
But there was a reason behind it, which worked for the rest of the story.
Yes. So
it wasn't just done for shock value.
Yeah. It was kind of like, that was kind of the whole point of murdering the character. So it's kind of like, I guess if you want to just complain about something to complain, that's why you've got an internet platform and we've got a YouTube channel. So.
But I'm just saying it would make more sense if you're just mad the character got killed because you love the character.
Yeah.
That's more respectable than the movie just shit on him for the rest of the film. I'm like, dude, you didn't watch the rest of the movie.
Right. So
anyway.
So basically you find out that the Marquis has all of the table's resources at his disposal to take down John Wick. Like they've given him everything with the sole intent to take down John Wick. And so they go off and they locate he's retired, but he's not out of the grips of
seems like
their influence.
In his head he is, but it's like to them you're like you're never done.
I guess because he gave his eyesight, he's retired.
Right.
But they're like, oh no, you've got a kid, so we can basically do with you what we want until we officially release you. You're ours. And so he calls on this retired former assassin named Kane,
motherfucking Kane, son.
Right.
Now talk about the differences. What issues you had, because you were briefly mentioned it in our out of the theater video.
Okay.
Why why they did what they did with the characters in 3, they did a lot better in this one.
Okay, so
certain characters.
One of the issues that I had said, some of the issues that I had said that I had in 3 that I had brought up in our spoiler-free review was that the agitator, who I also call the aggravator or the agitator,
the irritator,
that too, all of the above. She was an irritant throughout the film. Her acting was over the top, which so is Bill Skarsgård. Okay, so this is like the point of where you can compare and contrast.
Right,
okay,
right.
So we have 2 nearly identical characters.
Yeah.
The agitator and the Marquis.
Uh-huh.
Both characters are mouthpieces for the table.
Right.
Okay. Both characters come in from the outside and basically tell our characters, and in this case, it's both Winston. Mm-hmm. Both of them are like, okay, in the 3rd movie, it's you have a week to vacate because you helped John Wick, so you need to go because the murder was conducted in your building grounds, even though you had nothing to do with it. The table doesn't like what you're doing, so you got to go. And she just pops in throughout the movie, in and out of the movie. And when things aren't getting done the way she wants, she then hires the Mark Dacascos character to do her dirty work for her.
Right.
What does this movie do? The same goddamn thing. So you've got the Marquis who has all these things at his disposal. He doesn't try to bully his way around. He basically comes in and says, you're out, goodbye, you're excommunicado. He immediately hires Kane, sends him after Wick, and they're essentially the same characters. Mm-hmm. But what they do differently in both movies is what I didn't like about the agitator in 3 was that she would just pop in and out. She was an irritant. She was just this source of aggravation that you could never get rid of. She wasn't quite a villain, but she wasn't really a good guy. Right, she was clearly trying to displace people throughout the film because she was this mouthpiece for the high table.
Right.
But because she wasn't quite a villain, even though she hired the villain to get things done, she never got her comeuppance by the end of the movie,
which was terrible.
And I hated that because I wanted her to die.
She needed to die.
It's like maybe it wasn't the actress's fault. I don't care. I do not care. Yeah. Her acting was garbage. It was over the top. It was so irritating that because she didn't get her comeuppance by the end, I hated her character.
Right.
So what do you have in this 4th movie? Same type of character. Mm-hmm. Over the top, pompous, asshole, shoots the friend, kills him, kicks Winston out of the business. Okay. Yeah. Displaces everybody. Hires the assassin to kill John Wick. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Stabs the traveler's hand.
Nobody.
He's called the Traveler in IMDb.
Oh, okay.
They should have just called him Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, he's Mr. Nobody. That's what he calls himself.
Nobody. Anyway, go ahead.
He's a tracker. He's not a traveler.
I'm sorry, is it Traveler or Tracker?
Well, anyway, so he's the same essentially.
Tracker, I'm sorry.
He's
Tracker.
Essentially the same character.
Right.
Over the top, just ridiculous characterization of this person. The way he
wearing ridiculous rich outfits.
Yeah. But what they did on his character was he was the clear villain. And whereas as much as I love Dacascos as the villain, because I felt like Dacascos was having a blast playing his character in 3.
Oh, yeah.
What they did was they twisted it around, and the Marquis was clearly the villain in this movie. And Kane was the reluctant person that they brought in. And so you had this form of kind of contention where, okay, you've got the clear villain that you want to die. You want him to die.
Right.
But Kane, you kind of feel sympathy for, even though he does something later on where you're like, if you end up getting killed later on, you kind of had it coming. Y'all had decisions you had to make.
Right.
And, if it doesn't come for you now, it's going to come for you later. And the person that kills you, she's kind of in the right to do so. So that was one of the things that I felt like John Wick got wrong. 3 got wrong. And this movie did completely 100% right.
Right.
Even though they're the same fucking character.
Because he did get his.
And because he was the actual villain.
Yeah.
Now, if
the audience cheered, I know we're jumping the gun here.
We are jumping the gun.
But the audience cheered when Skarsgård got shot in the head. The audience cheered, and we were like, yeah, man, satisfaction.
Right.
Getting our money's worth, man. That's what it's all about.
And I guess we can talk about Kane and Koji.
But I thought Skarsgård did a great job.
No,
the educator was so irritating. But him, I wanted to bitch slap him the whole movie.
No, that was the thing. I wanted to bitch slap the educator
for different reasons.
But I felt like it was because her acting was bad. For some reason, Skarsgård, he told the line and he did it well. I don't know. There's just something was off.
I thought
he
was good. I thought he did a good job.
And
then my boy on the left, son.
Yeah.
Marco Zaror's son.
He had a great
the legend.
He had a great run in the movie.
Oh yeah.
And, but I think we can go on and talk about Kane and Koji, and that was the second parallel that I saw in 3 that I thought 3 did not do well, and that I thought 4 did very well.
Right.
Where you had the Halle Berry character.
Oh yes, that's the other one.
In John Wick 3 that I hated. You're going to think, oh my God, this bitch hates women. No, I don't like women that just aren't written very well. And I thought this, first of all, I thought in theory, the character could have worked, but Halle Berry was not the person player. Now I know Halle Berry worked very hard to do the stunts.
Yeah,
that was not the problem.
She was great in the action.
Her physicality was not the problem.
Right.
It was her acting. It was her performance. The minute her and John Wick share the screen, she has this petulant attitude and vocalization of her character that just rubbed me the wrong way. Like every time she talked, she just like, you came back into my life, John Wick. And I told you don't ever do it because this is my Continental. And I fucking hated it. It's bitch, he just kept, and it's like, he's got a marker on you. Just fucking deal with it. Just deal with it. He's got your marker. You got to deal with it.
Right.
I didn't like her performance.
I actually wanted to know more with her character,
and I think that was the problem.
But,
maybe they cut some stuff out, but obviously these two characters, they had this past that they described briefly in conversation where she had a daughter. These assassins, y'all fucking assassins need to stop having kids. It's fucking you up. What the hell? Koji, fucking Kane, fucking Halle Berry, y'all have kids and all got you fucked up, didn't you? Stop it. Anyway, John Wick, you were the smartest motherfucker that ever went. You ever worked at the table. You never had any kids. Good job. Anyway, so she had a kid, and he what he did was he got.
That's why you guys are here, man.
He got her daughter away from her, but not only did he get her away from her, he got her away from the life, and she doesn't even know where her daughter is. Like, she has no idea. So he's like, do you want to know? And she's like, no, because I might go find her. And she died. That's it. So what I didn't like about that was that something just, as soon as they got together, they didn't mesh well. I didn't like her characterization. I didn't like the way she acted. And it just didn't work the way it could have worked with a better performance and maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe the writing was off. Right. I don't know. But what they had again in 4, same type of character. You had Koji and you had Kane, an inferred past that we know absolutely very little, if nothing about, all explained in brief conversations, talking about how, once you understood what brotherhood was and you didn't need a marker to help out friends and all that.
It just was done so much better.
There was just something about the writing and of course the acting, because Donnie Yen and Hideyuki Sanada, Jesus.
Well, Donnie Yen was in the movie for a lot more than Sonata.
I know, but Sonata,
if we're comparing screen time.
No. I'm not comparing screen time. Okay. I'm comparing their acting.
Gotcha.
For non-native English speakers, and they've been speaking English for a long time because they've been in the business for a long time.
Sonata's done Broadway.
That's what I'm saying. They're only getting better.
Sonata's
with age.
Been on the stage.
These guys are only getting better with age.
Legends. They're legends.
Go figure. How do you get better with age? But they're like, how do non-native English speakers convey emotions and the English language better than Halle Berry?
But anyway, we're gonna get.
So maybe I can chalk it up to the writing. Maybe I can cut her a break and just chalk it up to the writing. Could have been a little bit better.
Her character was rushed, but
essentially it's the same type of character where they were former friends. But in this case, you've got the Koji character who's trying to protect John, who goes to the Osaka Continental and basically puts all of their lives in danger. And then you got Kane, who basically knows he's got very few friends left and very few friends that very few friends would actually help him anymore. And he goes to Osaka knowing that that's where he'd be. And well, not only that, but obviously the Marquis has sent his whole death squad with Marco Zaror and his character. Who's his character? What's the character's name? Chidi.
And I love this shot right here. Oh my God. When Zaror and crew, when Chidi and crew show up, I knew it was gonna be bad. It was gonna go down, son. And I love this shot, just setting up, just like, oh God, like it's gonna go. Like this is great. And we got a little bit of a tiny dream match between Zaror and Sonata, threw down a little bit.
Little seconds.
But I'll take it, man. I love it. That's why I'm there, But man, this opening action sequence was so good. This was so good. Like this action set piece from beginning to end could have been a finale for another action movie. And you could say that about a lot of these action set pieces. Easily could have been a finale for another action film. And it's just so good. So good, man. Just brawling, man. Just so badass. And the daughter did well too.
Okay, so
she was solid.
So in Osaka, this whole Osaka sequence from beginning to end is where we're introduced to, and this is something I couldn't talk about in the spoiler talk.
Akira.
This is where we're introduced to the two characters that I was initially worried about that ended up proving me wrong, and I always love being proved wrong.
Yes.
We were introduced to Akira, who is Koji's daughter, and she's the concierge at this Continental, and we are later on, after John Wick escapes the Continental, we are introduced to the character Tracker, or Mr. Nobody.
Right.
Now.
Who I thought was going to be generic assassin number 5.
I thought this guy was going to almost ruin the movie, first of all.
Right.
But when we first were introduced to Akira, and
she's pissed that Wick's there.
I was
she's
worried.
in the right to be angry.
And that was the thing. I was a little worried because it's like, oh boy, she's the daughter. Oh boy, she's going to be pissed that John Wick's there. Oh boy, John Wick's going to get her dad killed. And of course, all those things happen. And then of course, when the Osaka Continental comes under attack and she does that dramatic disrobe and she's in fighting gear, I'm like, oh God, please don't suck, because one bad non-fighter could ruin a beautifully choreographed sequence.
Right.
And thank God this performer, she cut it. She did fine. She did absolutely fine.
Very good.
And
props to her, man.
Yeah, I guess she's like a pop. I don't know if she's a pop singer, but she's musical. Okay. She's like musically involved in things.
An artist.
Right. And I guess she was hired because she knows how to dance and do like choreography and maybe fight
dancers.
So
dancers,
they adapt very well.
They adapt very well to martial arts movies,
right?
Yeah. Michelle Yeoh,
exactly. Yeah. So luckily, she didn't ruin a damn thing.
No,
and her character ended up being justified.
You understood the motivation.
When she got pissed at John Wick, there was that moment where she was pissed that he was there, and then as soon as the Continental comes under attack, she gives him this look like "fuck you," but are you armed?
Right. Yeah.
And I was like,
great.
oh, thank God we're not going to make this a thing, because, hey, what's important? We're all under attack. Are you going to fight with us? Come on. Yeah. And they all start to fight. And, but the second character.
Yes, Justin. Yes. That was great.
Yes.
You just kept stabbing him up the steps.
Yes.
I was like, all right.
Yes.
All right.
So the second character that I was very, very worried about was the Tracker.
Yeah. Mr.
Nobody, who is tracking John Wick for the sake of the bounty on his head.
Right.
And you come to find out that he is not going to kill John Wick until the bounty over his head is high enough to make it worth his while. And he keeps popping in and out of the movie. When I saw him with the dog, I was like, oh no, are they going to like make him connected to Halle Berry's character somehow? Because the dog looks similar to Halle Berry's characters, or dogs to her character. And I'm like, why are we doing the dog with a character again? I'm like, well, John Wick is a dog friendly franchise. So I'm like, okay, well, let's see where this goes. And he kept popping in and out of the movie. I am happy to say by the end of the movie, he also proved me completely wrong. And they had a really nice bookend with him and his dog and John Wick.
Yes.
Which we can get to that later.
Yeah.
But, if you want to stay in Osaka.
We're in Osaka right now. So the shit has hit the fan. Let's go. Let's fucking go. This is why you guys are here. So this is why you pay your hard-earned money. You go up there, you get the ticket.
Right.
Okay. You go and you sit down. The good sound and theater. You sit there. You want to see the spectacle.
Right. The standoff.
Okay. Let's fucking go,
Kane
son.
And Koji are like, Koji's like, look, there was a time where you thought, you knew about honor and friendship and all that. Yeah. And Koji and Kane's like, well, it is what it is. And
Kane was trying to he's look,
trying to
just
dissuade him.
Give up Wick.
Right.
Just give John up, for fuck's sake.
Chidi steps in and is like, bruh, your hotel is deconsecrated. You're fucked. So basically, this point, Koji knows
that. Put a Conan the Destroyer. Enough talk.
So at this point, Koji knows that that's it. Once your hotel is deconsecrated, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So
let's go. Let's fucking go. I like how when
he does the little
when he goes to his men
Yeah.
And what did he say to his men?
Oh, he says we're expecting guests. Get ready.
Oh.
they all have that last drink of sake.
Oh,
and then they all open up their cabinets and it's full of
Oh my God. But
toys.
dude, let's fucking go. Koji's daughter throws down, Wick slicing throats, gun battles. We have an amazing nunchaku sequence, so well done, especially from Keanu, who's obviously not a nunchaku master.
You know what
But he trained his ass off. We watched some behind the scenes footage of him training. And man, I loved how he kept that thing with him. Because I thought from the trailer he was going blah, 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 and that was it. No, he kept it with him.
Did you feel like
throughout the action sequence
when he first got the nunchucks? Did you feel like when he first started using them, he was really awkward and clumsy with them? But then the more he used them, he got a little more confident, like John Wick the character. John Wick the character.
Oh, okay.
I felt like no. I felt like John Wick the character.
Yeah.
It was like he was like, oh shit, how do I use these? But the more because this film is all about adapting to what you've got. So you've got different types of guards and men in this fight sequence. You've got the heavily armed guards with the face and the chest plates and all that. And then you've got the tactical suit guys that have the John Wick suits where they're kind of not necessarily impervious to bullets, but they're kind of impervious to bullets.
Yeah.
And so you've got to dismantle them in different types of ways where your handguns aren't really going to kill the guys with the full-blown suits, but the assault rifles will. But in the meantime, how are you going to get to the close range and this and that? So he's got the nunchucks, and at first he seems like he doesn't really know what he's doing with them, but the more he uses them,
it's kind of like
it felt like he was better.
He uses them out of desperation, and then when he kept them, he's like, all right, I'm gonna use it as a secondary weapon.
It almost felt like the more John Wick the character was getting used to them, the better he became at disarming and using the weapons.
It's so good.
I don't know if that was just me noticing that.
It works either way. It works.
It just seemed like.
But talk about your favorite part. Was the very end of it. That's your favorite part, the very end, where he basically is just like he just gives one big swipe like that and it falls down because he's like tired. It's awesome.
Yeah, he just that last dude, and then you're just like,
it's awesome, man. It's so good. And then you got fucking Kane showing up. It's like every time Kane showed up, it was just like, oh shit. Like even before that, we forgot to talk about the action sequences leading up to this. When Kane's just there eating soup.
Oh, yeah.
Which was hilarious. And then Chidi's like, hey, man, you go do your goddamn job. Like, he'll come out. And he's like, all right. He comes out there. He puts the sensors on the sides.
Yeah, they make noise.
He can hear people walk by so he can fuck them up.
Right.
He did the Ip Man punch his son. He did the Donnie Yen roll-up, the roll-up punch, uppercut, the Donnie Yen classic.
Right.
He did that. I mean, there was so much fan service. We were just having a blast. And Sonana was cutting dudes down. I mean, come on,
and using guns too.
Come on.
He was using both.
This is the first action set piece. You get the fuck out of here, man. Get out of here. They just kill Charon. The rest of the movie. The rest of the movie fucking sucks. Get the fuck out of here. Action movies are not for you, reviewer.
Well, what? Some people think the fight sequences are too long.
Okay. Again, to each his own. That's fine. But this is the finale. Yeah. For the most part, as of right now. This is the finale. You go big, you go back to the crib. All right?
And
my boy Cryptic Soul used to say.
That's how I viewed it. It's like...
hold on. Thank you, Jedi Grand, for the super chat. My action film people, what's up? What is up, Jedi Grand?
And that was the thing that I didn't know, because one of the things that we try to do now going into movies that we are very, very excited for, we try to avoid everything. We'll watch 1 to 2 trailers. We might watch a teaser and then we might watch the first trailer. And then that's it. We don't watch any behind the scenes, anything. We don't watch any making of. We don't read any articles of production.
Yeah, apparently.
Unless it's like the Justice League debacle, where we were excited and then we were like, we heard, you couldn't help but hear about the Justice League debacle, when Snyder got booted off the production.
About when Whedon took over.
Yes.
Yeah.
You couldn't help but know what was going on with that. And so with John Wick, we were under the impression that the last installment was going to be 2 films.
Right.
We had no idea that the 4th movie was, for now, going to be the finale.
Right.
We didn't know that they decided to
instead of making it a 2-parter,
they were going to do the back-to-back thing
Right.
and do 4 and then do 5.
Mhm.
And this was, I guess, going to be released a lot earlier, but the COVID thing happened, the coup and all that. And then they just decided to just say, no, you know what, screw this, and just concentrate it all into one big last hurrah. And as we know now, we didn't find all this out until after the fact.
Right.
And so, come to find out, this movie was a lot longer, its original cut.
Yeah.
And when they were finally able to whittle it down to just under 3 hours. And, if you're gonna make this, if you made the decision as a filmmaker to kind of, for now, make this the finale, you're gonna make it big. You're gonna make the action sequences long and elaborate, and you're gonna make them girthy.
Shout out to my boy Finkster, who considers this movie the Avengers Endgame of this franchise. Yeah. You got to go big or go big or go back to the crib.
Yeah.
All right. Like that's it. So I don't have any issues with the length of the action sequence, man.
Yeah.
This is it. So let's go. So we're leading up to this. And every time Kane comes in, they did so well with his fighting style. I know Donnie Yen had his influence on the fight choreography for Kane as well. He didn't just do the normal blind swordsman Zatoichi style. They actually threw in like a little bit of European style, a little bit of it's almost like Donnie Yen's wuxia background mixed with fencing, that kind of style. And it was so nice, so refreshing, and so badass, and just so good. And then after this, we have this. Are you getting your money's worth? Are you getting your money's worth up to this point? We're not even midway in the movie yet. And we have a dream match between two of the greats. And yes, of course, we would want a longer duel. But I thought it was perfect. Sonata's character was injured. Koji was injured. It was perfect. And it was so good. Swordplay was just perfection here. Two masters, two greats. I mean, it's rare, especially over here in the goddamn States, to get dream matches like this. Are you fucking out of your mind?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're going crazy right here.
Right.
And again, going back to the differences between comparisons to some of the characters not written that well in 3 compared to Koji's character. They did such a good job. You know why they did such a good job? This is why I can tell you they did such a good job. Is because when he died, every little stab Kane's character did to Koji, every little stab, the entire audience reacted. Do you think they would have reacted if they didn't give a shit about the character? They would have just sat there and like, oh, Japanese guy got stabbed. Okay. But the character, when he died, the audience was like, oh shit. Every time he got stabbed. This is just high quality stuff. And again, we're not even midway to this movie. We're not even midway. So now, so this is what made me, the tracker was starting to grow on me a little bit here, because right around this time, the bounty for John Wick's character went up to 20 million, and right when that happened, I thought I was thinking in my head in the theater, I'm like, dude, this guy's causing all this trouble. He killed an elder. He's killing thousands of dudes. He's causing all this problems. Just 20 million? Are you fucking kidding me? The fucking tables looks like they're fucking zillionaires, right? And right when I was thinking that, the tracker's like, no, I'm gonna wait. You need to stay alive. Live longer for me, because I want your bounty to go up. I was like, all right. I was like, that makes sense. Because I'm like, dude, it should be like $1 billion bounty on John Wick. 20 million?
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
So
that's how much Keanu Reeves probably got paid to do this movie. But yeah, it made sense why he kind of held back on him.
Right.
But I was definitely getting a Lone Wolf McQuaid vibe from the tracker, especially with that rifle he had. I loved his rifle. I loved that Western style pistol and the holster he had. Good shit. But let's get to this now.
Well, so you mentioned that Kane killed Koji, but what you didn't mention was that Akira was injured during the fight,
right?
And
she
watched as her father die, and she gets pissed, of course, and she goes to take up her sword, and Kane's like, "Don't you need to just live and get out of here.
Yeah, I love how he says live.
Yeah.
That was great.
And she reluctantly stumbles away, and as she's doing so, he goes, "I'll be waiting for you." And that kind of resonated in my head for a bit. I'm like, okay. So Wick is escaped. Akira meets him up on a subway, and
right.
People ignore gunshot wounds in this movie quite a bit. So she's bleeding on the train, and he's all fucked up on the train. He looks over to her, and she's like, "If you don't kill Kane, I will." And he goes, "I understand." Well, if you've seen the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And so by the end of the movie, I was like, oh.
Let's go.
And so when we stayed for the end credit sequence, I was like, oh. But
brilliant,
anyway.
Brilliant.
So that was a nice little scene. And again, Akira's character 100% justified in everything.
Yes.
And and that was the thing that this movie excelled in, was everybody's actions. It's like, yeah, she's right for hating John because he brought all that shit to the Continental. And yeah, she's right for hating Kane because he killed her father, even though did Koji really have to go after Kane? Kane basically let Koji go and say, go help your daughter. And he's like, no, I'm still going to come after you. It's like, Koji, you're almost fucking dead.
Not a good decision. Koji made a bad decision.
He's letting you go. Just go. But no, the pride and the you could have lived him. But anyway.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Thanks again, Jedi, for the super chat. He said he got his money's worth and much more. Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. But yeah.
Right. So there, even though it was kind of Koji's fault, he didn't have to, but he did. But anyway.
So, now answer this question, guys. Maybe you guys might give me your opinion. When they show Kane before the duel, Kane's there chilling. I got a picture of that later. You'll see why I picked that photo. But there's dead dudes around him. They're bleeding. Like Cheaty's guys. Did Kane kill them or did John Wick kill them?
Did John kill them on the way out, maybe?
Did John kill them on the way out? Or did Kane kill them because he's trying to make a way for them to escape? I was curious about that because the way it was filmed, he's there chilling right there by the body, and the body's bleeding. And there's several bodies in there. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming Wick did it, but I don't know.
Yeah,
did Kane kill those guys?
You never know.
But let me know what you guys think about that. But yeah, let's get back to the plot here.
Wick goes back to New York and meets up with Winston because Winston wanted to get an audience with him anyway.
I had a picture of that, but it's gone.
And
keep going.
And King even told Winston, like, why would he want to see you? Last time he saw you, you shot him.
You shot him.
He fell off the building because of you. And he's like, and Winston's like, John needs to know what's coming, basically. The table, marquee and all that.
Yeah.
And even at this rate, though, he kind of knows, but John doesn't know the full scope, because even the conversation that he has with Winston in this scene, John's kind of a dum-dum in this scene.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like a bloodthirsty hound where he doesn't know the full scope of everything. He sees target, kill, but he doesn't understand the full breadth of everything.
Right.
So they meet at Sharon's gravesite.
Right.
And they have this conversation, and Winston's like, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm going to kill him. And he's like, they'll replace him before the body's cold, dude.
It's like Hercules with Hydra.
Yeah. You've got to beat him in his own game.
Right.
You got to challenge him to the duel. It's the high table rules. It's the ancient rules, but hey, they're on the books.
Right.
All you got to do is challenge
the
him to a duel.
old ways.
Right.
Yeah. You can challenge him to a duel. Yeah.
And he's like, but I'm not, if you're part of a family, you can challenge me to a duel. I'm not part of a family anymore. I tore my ticket. Keeping continuity. Nice. Yeah. And he's like, well, I suggest you get your ass to Berlin and get your ticket mended. So we're off to Berlin.
Yes. Now, before we do that, one of the criticisms for this movie is they say, well, why didn't Winston do that or let John Wick know that he could have did the duel thing in the previous movie or movies? What's your response to that?
I feel like, first of all, things hadn't escalated that much yet. And also, Winston didn't have any motivation to do anything like that.
Exactly.
This whole Winston's part in this movie is fueled by revenge. He even said so.
Right.
Winston has lost everything in this movie. and he can't do anything. He's like 80 years old. What is he gonna do? He can't. He wants his stuff back. He wants to avenge his losses, and this is the only way it can be done for both of them. It's like, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. Right. It's that type of situation. But back then, he had the Continental. He had all of his power.
Exactly.
He helped
John. There was no reason to do that.
Every single movie, he helped John as best he could. But I don't think the circumstances had become dire enough for John to. But John wasn't even in he wasn't even in until part 3. He was out. Right. Part 1, part 2. He was out of the syndicate. He was out of all of it. It wasn't until part 3 where he became involved again.
Right.
So there was no duel to request.
Right.
There wasn't anything. And again, there was no motivation for Winston to tell him anything that could be done.
There you go. Very well said. All right. Off to
That's how I see it.
Booyakasha.
So he finds his adoptive family.
Who have fun torturing him. They want to kill him.
Because they're pissed off because this lady who's his adoptive sister, her father sat at the table. And once John Wick's shenanigans went round, the Marquis had her father killed. And,
by killer.
Right. And so she's like, and John tells her, hey, I can challenge him to a duel, but I gotta get back in with you guys. You gotta give me the crest. You gotta give me the ticket. You gotta do all this shit. And she's like, how many people did you kill to get out? And he's like, a lot. And he's like, well, you kill one to get back in. It's the guy who killed my father. So she sends
this motherfucker.
I am Klaus.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to I Am Klaus.
So,
where's the spin-off John Wick movie?
Oh my God.
Chapter 6. Klaus. I am Klaus.
The chapter of Klaus.
Oh, man, I was rolling when he came in. He did a little bitch slap on John. He was like, I am Klaus. Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
So we're introduced to the character that when I first saw this photo,
I was the same
of Scott Adkins.
Yes.
Because when we first were notified that Scott Adkins was going to be in this movie, we were so excited.
Oh yeah,
you're like, oh my God, finally! Because ever since more people started getting announced for the John Wick franchise, we were like, where the hell is Scott Adkins? Like, seriously, come on, Scott Adkins, where is he?
Yeah.
And finally, part 4, late in the game, Scott Adkins was finally announced. We're like, yes. And we saw his photo. We're like, oh, really? Really?
Oh, we got the Baba Yaga. Look at the Baba Yaga. Oh my God.
So, not what we were expecting.
We trusted the filmmakers.
Not what we were expecting.
But I knew I had a feeling. I had a feeling in the back of my scratch the motherfucking action itch neck that he was going to steal the scene.
Right.
No matter what scene he's in, he's going to steal it.
And can we just take a minute right now this is something we haven't really mentioned. The soundtrack in all of these films has been so well.
Oh my God, the soundtracks. My God.
And we have seen this movie twice now. We wanted to see it a second time to be able to just process the second time around. You know, the first time
I didn't know. That's hilarious.
So the first time we saw it, it was just like so overwhelming because there was just so much to process. So we had to go in So we had to go in for the second time to just kind of like absorb it more and just get more into our bones.
The badassity.
Just get more into the bones and the nitty grit of it.
Soak in it.
And I can honestly tell you that I will be buying the soundtrack.
Oh my God.
But
so good.
Because Killa, he's in a club. He owns a club.
Yes.
And his whole fight sequence that happens takes place in his club.
Yes.
And so there's this techno music that you hear
in
the background throughout all of his scene. You hear it first from afar and it's kind of like muffled. But by the time the fight scene actually gets revved up and it really gets into high gear, there are stages of the fight throughout.
Yes.
There's like a stage 1, a stage 2, and a stage 3, essentially, where things change. People come in, people go out, people come in, people go out of the fight. And what I love about it,
you got axes and shit, motherfucking axes.
The music, the club music, which is also the incidental music of the movie, changes with the fighting.
Yes.
It's the same song, but it just adds a different layer and it adds a different beat, and it just becomes a little bit different each time the fight the fight scene changes. And both times I watched the movie when this scene came up, I was doing this in the theater with my leg. I was like, yeah.
Oh my God.
I was so into it. I was like, I was doing this. And I was like,
oh, so good.
And I couldn't stop. Like it was a good lengthy scene.
Yeah.
Like all the other fight sequences in this movie.
Yeah. But you thought also before we get to the
I'm really embarrassed.
Why?
I'm really embarrassed to admit this.
Why? What?
The first time we watched the movie. The first time. Okay. Because Scott Adkins in a fat suit. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the scene with him playing,
he's challenging Brendan Fraser for the whale.
The scene where him and the tracker, Mr. Nobody, and King,
this was great suspense here.
It was a really good standoff scene.
Oh yeah, this is good shit right here.
And he was like, "Oh, you want him dead? You want him dead? I want him dead. Oh, what a conundrum!" And it was just a great scene leading up to all that.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, Killa makes his move, and then Wick comes in with a playing card and slashes him in the throat, and then Killa very comedically waddles away in his fat suit, and I'm like, oh no, is Scott not gonna fight?
Yeah. Because we didn't see any other trailers or TV spots where apparently they show Scott fighting.
Really?
We didn't see that.
Because I thought he was being played for comedy. And I'm
right.
How can you hire Scott Adkins and put him in a fat suit? And I'm like, how is he going to fight in that thing? And I'm like, oh, is he just being played for comedy and this is just a glorified cameo?
Right.
I was like, oh, well, okay. And then that motherfucker, I don't know.
Roundhouse kick, son.
I don't know how he did it because he's Scott Adkins, I guess.
He's Scott Adkins. Roundhouse kick.
But yeah, he blew my mind in what he was able to do in that suit. I don't know how much the suit weighed. It'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We when he couldn't get away anymore, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was
got shot in the ass.
Yeah, he got shot me in the ass. That's what he said. And then later, I think he throws one of the axes in his ass too, the other ass cheek.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! And then when he falls down the staircase and breaks his neck, he has this goofy look on his face.
Yeah,
it was just so funny. It was so good, man. But I think the club fighting is being underappreciated and being overlooked because apparently everybody else is like, during all the action sequences, no one's reacting. So I'm like, you're complaining about that right now? You're this far in the movie, and that's your complaint.
They did eventually.
Yeah,
it took them a while.
They don't say that though. Everyone that complains about the crowd not reaction during the show. Have you ever been to a concert? You know how many metal concerts I've been to where I see fights and no one's doing a goddamn thing. Nobody's doing anything. Until finally somebody yells for security, and the security eventually at some point gets there. But we'll have 10 people fighting in a fucking mosh pit.
Yeah.
And nobody does shit.
Yeah.
Everybody at this point, you could say they're probably high and the music's loud and they're rich and they don't give a fuck. Okay. They don't care about a few people here and there getting beat up. But if you watch closely as the fight escalates, you could see people react.
I would think by the third.
You could see, especially when we watch the movie a second time.
Yeah.
You could see people that are close to John Wick at certain points of the fight. There's 4 or 5 people screaming and like doing this and like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And then by the end of the fight, when it escalates and then Killa dies, everyone's running out of the club.
Yeah.
But nobody's mentioning that.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, the whole entire fight scene's garbage and shit. 0 stars for this movie because nobody's reacting during the fight. Get the fuck out of here. Don't watch any Bollywood movies. Tollywood, Sandalwood, whatever the fuck. Don't watch RRR. Okay? Don't watch. But I'm like, dude, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
As the fight escalates, people start to notice. Right?
Do you want to talk about it now, or do you want to talk about it later? About
what are you
how
talking about?
Some people are complaining about how, you can see in a lot of fights where some people are just waiting to jump in on the fight because it's so choreographed.
Well, that was a nitpick, and some of my stuntman buddies mentioned that. Like, if you really zoom in on some of the fight scenes, you could see a few of the guys holding back and then waiting for their cue to go in. But this is not. Are you really comparing John Wick Chapter 5 to 4? Are you really comparing John Wick Chapter 4 to Last Jedi?
You know what?
Is that what you're doing?
If I could be totally like...
Because there's a big difference between the guys waiting to go in and fight Rey and Kylo and The Last Jedi.
If I can be...
Then the guys waiting for their cue in John Wick Chapter 4.
Completely unabashedly and unashamedly biased when it comes to this movie.
I grew up on ninja movies from the 80s, man. That's just kind of a thing.
I noticed it. I noticed it too. Especially
it didn't really bother me though.
Here's the thing. I noticed it too in the second viewing more so. But if I can be like totally frank with you,
yeah,
I was more impressed with my thought process is like, and it doesn't take me out of the movie when I do this. I was so impressed and happy with how much care and time must have went into the choreographing of the fighting and the sequences. Then one guy standing over there waiting to take a shot at John Wick.
Because not every action movie on the planet is perfect.
And
yes,
I was so happy that I could see the goddamn fighting.
Exactly.
You don't know how rare that is in American cinema.
It's rare.
You can see the fights. It's such a treat.
It's not edited to shit.
Yeah.
Or shaky cam to shit.
Yeah.
Or quick cut edited to shit.
And
stop complaining about that shit.
Yeah.
And appreciate what's there.
Yeah. It was such a treat to
Sorry,
see.
Jedi.
Oh.
I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people, some of my stuntman brothers that brought it up, they're stuntmen, they know. But they still enjoyed the film for what it was.
Yeah.
There's that's different than saying, oh, the entire action sequence that person waited to hit Wick was ruined and is complete trash and garbage because one guy or two guys over here waited their turn to fight Wick. Get the fuck out of here and stop watching action movies.
Yeah.
And I think this is kicking in.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm getting pissed.
And I also think there's a difference.
Well, we're having fun.
I also think there's a difference. Like when I noticed it more, it was like when it was 2-on-1.
Exactly, Rue. Rue knows what's up. Shokasugi's son. Yeah. I love Shokasugi.
I think it's worse when there's like 6 or 7 people in the background.
Exactly.
And all of them are waiting. But if it's like 2 people on one and one person's kind of, I don't think it's as egregious.
It's fine.
And that's mostly what I saw in this movie. So again, I'm just more happy with the.
No, it sucks. Fuck it. 0 stars. Fuck this movie. This is crap.
Right.
It's garbage.
Right. So yeah, it's like, yeah, of course I noticed it, but I was more happy with being able to see the fighting.
How long? Do you know how hard these action sequences were to put together?
Yeah.
Do you know how long it must have took for them to do this shit and how hard it was?
And how miraculous that it wasn't botched in the editing room.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
So it's.
Yeah.
So just go.
Exactly.
Go away.
Go away. Go away now.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, let's keep going.
So
let's keep going.
Okay. So
great fight with Atkins.
So the family demands proof of death, and so after Wick finally dispatches Akilla, the funny scene with Scott with Killa in there, he rips out one of the gold teeth, presents it to the family. They amend his ticket. They give him the crest back. And now he's part of the family again.
I'm going to do this for the rest of the stream.
Right. So now he's part of the family. And in the meantime, word gets back to Winston. Winston goes to the Marquis and he's like, scroll, motherfucker. Here's your dual summons. And the Marquis's like, why would I do this? And he's like, because it's the rules, bitch. And he's like, he's not part of a family. And he's like, well, I guess he got back in with the family. And so Marquis doesn't really have much of a choice because he has to follow the rules. We didn't mention the Harbinger.
Clancy. Clancy, son.
Clancy.
Mr. Krabs.
Clancy.
Kurgan.
One of the interesting side characters of this movie that you kind of know a little bit by inference only is the Harbinger.
Yeah.
Who is the bringer of the news of the table. And he doesn't have the power. Obviously, he's not the same. He's not like any character that we've seen before. He's a harbinger. He brings the news of the table.
Yeah.
And he was the one that.
He's got a scar too, so he's been through some shit.
And he's missing a finger.
Yeah.
So you know that he's given shit.
Love Clancy.
He's given shit to the table.
Yeah.
And so he's got a lot of history with them. He was the one that told Winston, "Hey, you've been summoned. You got to get out of the evacuate the hotel." And he is also the one that kind of oversees when Wick and the Marquis meet up with each other to go over the rules of what their duel will eventually be. And it's decided pistols at dawn at this specific location.
Let's go.
And
pistols.
What I kind of like about the Harbinger is that even he knows that the Marquis is kind of a douchebag.
He warns him at the end of towards the end of the movie. He warns him. He's like, what was it? It was like, never let your ambitions
exceed your worth.
Exceed your worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's telling him, he's like, the destruction of the Continental, the bloodshed of the Osaka was unnecessary. You know, he's like, all the shit you're pulling, it's kind of ridiculous, you know. Yeah. So he was an interesting character. It would be interesting to see him if there any more.
He's always a presence, no matter what he's in. He's always Clancy Brown's great.
And he oversees the actual duel by the end of everything.
Hold on. Rue says, if John Wick 5 happens, we will pay for you and Lady Fat Blood to come see this with our group. All right. It sounds like fun, Rue.
So the duel is the rules of the duel are decided, and it's pistols at dawn at a location, and the rules also stipulate that Winston is going to be the second.
Right.
If Wick dies, Winston dies with him.
Yeah.
And
stakes.
Right.
Stakes.
And if they do not show up for the duel, they will be. If John Wick does not show up for the duel, they will be executed.
Right.
And of course, the Marquis, being the slimy little rat shit that he is, he nominates Kane as his actual duelist. And after everybody leaves, Kane's like, "I'm not going to do it. I ain't going to do your dirty work for you."
Kane is just great.
And Harvard and the Marquis is like, do I need to remind you? You've got a daughter. You went and had a kid, you dipshit. You're an assassin. You had a kid. And it's like, you got a kid. You're going to do what we say.
Yeah, no choice. Yeah.
And he's like, if you do this, you're free. You and your daughter, you're free. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
And so those are the rules. And so what we...
really quick, Rue wants to know, is John Wick Winston's son?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. He's an orphan. They even said they found him.
That's right.
They found him. He's a
You were plucked from the streets.
He's an orphan,
as the Marquis said.
But
this scene right here, was next. This was a great scene.
Right. So John Wick's lighting a candle for his wife, and Kane's like, "Do you really think she can hear you?" And John's like, "No." And he's like, "Well, then why do you do it?" And he's like, "Well, because I hope I'm wrong." And Kane's like, "Yeah, the dead don't matter. It's the living that we need to be concerned with." And he's like, "You know, if it comes down to between you and my daughter, you're gonna die."
Yeah.
And John's like, "Well, maybe it doesn't have to be that way." And Kane kind of like laughs
maybe
it
not.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. And Kane kind of like laughs it off.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I've missed you, John."
Yeah.
It's just a nice little quiet scene.
Yeah.
So
what an American movie allowing Donnie Yen to act? What is happening?
You know. So after that, the Bowery King makes his way to Old Paris.
Yeah.
And I think they're in Paris.
Yeah.
And shows up with a new ballistic suit, which is
was it Bullet Chic or something like something he called it like Bullet Chic.
And which means he'll be even more impervious to bullets in this movie. Get used to it, folks. It's not going away.
Yeah, if you're this far, there's no turning back.
I will admit though, my favorite part at the end,
giving him the Viper right here. The Viper.
Right before the duel, when John takes off his suit and he takes off his vest underneath.
Yeah.
You hear all the bullets that the suit's caught. You hear them all falling off onto the ground. That was a good touch.
Yeah.
So we have the scene with Winston, the king, and John Wick in the boat going towards as close to the location that he can get him.
Yeah.
And he had that nice conversation with I didn't know what to put on Sharon's gravesite, or his headstone. It seems so insignificant. And then "Long live the king." I had mine made years ago, as the king states. And John gets out of the boat and he goes, "Loving husband." That's what I want put on my headstone.
Yeah.
And
great.
And Winston kind of looks at him like, "You're about to die, you motherfucker." Aren't you?
If you die, I die, goddammit. What are you doing?
So
yeah. Great scene.
So,
but now again, there's tons of homages to a whole bunch of shit that I'm sure we missed.
This was the most unexpected.
But this
and
was
just
like
absolutely adorable.
I got the poster right there, guys.
So adorable.
I got the beautiful poster right there.
Of all the things they could have homaged, I didn't see this one coming. So you get this. The bounty goes up on him again. And you get
still not enough in my opinion, but go ahead.
You get this young, you see the black girl right there with the nose stud in her head, and you don't see her face, you just see the mouth.
Right.
And she goes, "Good evening, boppers." And I'm like, boppers. I'm like, wait a minute.
Let's
And
go.
she's on the radio.
Let's go.
And they start playing a modern version of Nowhere to Run.
Nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide, son. What?
I'm like,
fucking Warriors. Shout out. One of my favorite
really-
movies of all time. I got the
Are
poster. I
they
got the poster right there.
really referencing the Warriors?
Let's go.
I'm like,
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
You cheeky little devils.
Yeah.
So adorable. It was so absolutely.
Just
Yeah,
the
it's just-
smile is continuing while
Yeah.
watching the movie.
It was so cute.
Yeah.
They had a lot of good music, and then they had an interesting, like, I don't know if it was Parisian version of Painted Black. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
But it wasn't in
That
English.
was-
I know
no.
it wasn't in English. Forgive me, my language skills are. I know
Yeah.
English barely, and that's it. But yeah, it wasn't in English what they were singing.
Yeah.
I don't believe. But it was an interesting version of that song. And then that again, they'd play. She'd get on the mic and she'd say, "Hey, boppers, you're sucking ass. You better get back out there. He's still heading towards the location.
Yeah.
You got to stop him. The bounty's
Yeah.
gone up."
And watching this a second time, when we watch this a second time, when we get to when we get to this sequence, when he's in the car and he's drifting around, shooting gunplay, when things start escalating and they start playing that Painted Black song, guess what I was thinking in the theater? Everybody watching, this is not even the goddamn finale. We're not even there yet.
Yeah.
We are not even there yet for the goddamn action finale to this movie. But you are about to be treated to something absolutely special. I don't care about CGI. I don't care about the green screen. The ambition and the creativity and the hard work that went into this is so good. And my boy Marcus Rohr shines, son.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so good.
And again, I will say there is a parallel here between John Wick 3 and this movie again. John Wick 3 had a lot of ambition, but it had a really bad green screen problem. They had two scenes in particular.
It stood out. It was kind of annoying.
John Wick on the horse and John Wick on the bikes.
Yeah,
and
on the motorcycle. Yeah.
I think if they had picked one action sequence and devoted a little more budget to one of them.
Yeah, it probably would have came out a little bit better.
Yeah. I kind of wish they had done that, because when you watch it on 4K,
it stands
rough.
out.
It was
man.
rough in the theater.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's even more rough in high definition. And I know this particular scene in HD is gonna look a little because it looks a little in the theater, but again,
still it's
it
not as bad.
boils down to
it's not as bad as the motorcycle
how much
scene.
are you willing to dismiss for the sake of the green screen is obvious. Okay, obvious green screen is obvious, but what are the performers doing?
Exactly.
What care is going on? What is the director trying to tell you? What are the actors and the stunt people trying to show you?
Even the dog gets in on the action right here. Poor Marco right
What
here.
is the story trying to tell you? What is everybody trying to put their whole heart and effort into to entertain you and to show you? And I think that kind of overrode my
I honestly didn't think the VFX was that bad.
I mean,
I didn't think it was that bad.
I noticed but it was like,
will it be worse on 4K watching it at home? Maybe.
I think so.
But the music soundtrack during this action set piece, what the stuntmen do, what everyone does, what Marcus Rohr does, what Keanu Reeves does, it's so fun. It's so badass.
Yes.
It's so amazing.
Yes. So again, it's like
it didn't bother me.
Right.
That foreign traffic didn't stop. It didn't bother me that the cops didn't show up immediately to stop everything.
Hey, you know what?
Have you seen how people drive in Russia?
No, you know what?
Have you seen?
I think
they don't give a fuck. They don't stop for nothing.
Do you remember what happened in the
There's
first?
no lanes.
No, do you remember what happened in the first John Wick movie?
What?
He had a cop friend.
Yeah.
And as soon as he saw those bodies in his house, he was like, "Hey, John, you working again?"
I think that's a good point.
I think the cops are in the pocket of the high table.
That's a good fucking point.
I think they know
because
to stay out.
Were there cops in the sequels?
I don't think
so.
No, I think the cops know.
There was no cops. The cops know to stay the fuck away from the high table.
I think the cops
and their business. Oh, oh, killed it right there. There's no cops to this whole goddamn franchise. So what are you complaining about cops now? Anyway. But, oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it. I love this whole exactly, Justin. I love this character arc with the dog and Chidi's character. I mean, it's so good.
Yeah, and
oh my God.
He was the character that kept pointing the gun at the dog, pointed the gun at the dog twice, pointed the gun the first time when the Marquis we didn't talk about the scene where the Marquis gives Mr. Nobody the chance to make his own decision for the deal. And Kane was like, whatever he says, don't take it. I would consider
he's like Wick's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said Wick's mine
right.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And and
is she brilliant or what? I know, right?
Stop it. But I think in this world, they just know.
No, you don't fuck with the high table.
What are they gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
They're everywhere.
Exactly.
Look at how many assassins showed up at the end of 2.
Exactly.
And at the beginning of 3.
There was like 1,000 assassins following Wick run up the street.
Yeah, like half the fucking city, half of New York City is there.
No, fuck it. 0 stars. This movie sucks. 0 stars. There's no cops. 0 stars.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So that first scene when
but this was brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stuntmen getting hit.
Yep.
We were loving the fact that Marco got hit during their fight. Oh, I saw behind the scenes of Marco talking about his sequence with Keanu during that fight, and Keanu was like, "No, man, you can hit me harder."
Oh.
Because Keanu's badass like that. He's like, no, it's okay. Because Marco's being respectful.
Yeah.
And Marco's like, oh, shit, this guy's badass. All right. So he hit him a little bit harder. Keanu's like, all right, it's good.
Yeah.
Dude, let's go.
Oh.
But there's no cops in the scene. So all of it's fucking garbage. Anyway. But, yeah, the music, everything about that sequence. Oh, we were laughing hysterically when Keanu threw Marco into a car. And then later, Marco tries to hit him with the car, and he gets out of the car, and he keeps going. I love how Marco kept going. His character, Chidi, kept going throughout the whole movie. He just didn't get killed off like right in the beginning or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, this was fucking the music. Yo, go out and buy the score right now. We don't even own it. We are not even motherfucking sponsored by John Wick Chapter 4. If you want to sponsor us, we'll take it. We're not sponsored, but go out and buy that soundtrack. But again, what did I say when I was in the theater? I was like, we're just getting started. When I was watching this again, I was like, we're just getting started right now. We're not even there. And then we are treated to some more amazing badassity with some of the most beautiful, gorgeous camera work, some of the most beautiful one-take shots, some of the most just absolutely astounding and amazing sequences going on in this building when we get to this sequence right here. Talk about it. Talk about it, baby.
Well, so it starts off.
Boom.
It starts off simple.
Yes.
We already had the scene where the lady on the radio is basically transmitting to all the assassins out there, hey, and you see a lot of people gearing up. And in part of the gear up sequence, you see these guys practicing their incendiary shotguns on these dummies. And it's
exactly.
like, ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
But it's like a blink and you miss it.
Incendiary rounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
and
great.
So they get into this building and you realize Mr. Nobody's in there also because the dog shows up.
Yeah.
And
he's still fucking with Skarsgård.
Yeah. Gee. Oh, on the phone. On the phone.
That's right. He's still fucking with him.
He's
He's like, price is going up. What, 40 million now? Click.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
But at one point, and everything's being filmed beautifully.
Right.
Perfectly. Like you can see everything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we get this over-top shot.
Oh my God.
That is so elaborate. And it just keeps going from room to room to room where John's got the incendiary shotgun. And he's like blowing people away. Some people are getting hit. Some people aren't. Some people are, ducking, getting out of the way. Some people are getting blown the fuck up, getting set on fire. And it just keeps going.
It's one of the most beautiful, greatest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
People, I'm sure for the first time are probably realizing while watching this action sequence going, I didn't know violence could be beautiful. Oh yeah. Samurai Guy said it. Like, share, and subscribe. I didn't know violence could be beautiful.
Lord.
Could be a thing of beauty. Stuntmen on point.
Yeah.
Camera work, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
The one-take shots, amazing.
Yeah.
Badass, satisfying. You're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, it did remind me
Oh
of
my
a
God.
video
A
game.
little bit of hard-boiled vibes too.
Yeah, it reminded me of a video game that you played a while ago.
was a Hotline Miami?
I don't remember what it's called, but apparently it was based on another video game that probably predated that game.
It was the one Sumo was telling us about.
Right,
it was
yeah.
Damn it.
I don't remember what it was called.
Hong Kong Shootout or something like that.
Yeah.
I forgot, but yeah.
Now they could have kept going with that sequence and I would have been fine, but then they go back to a regular viewpoint and then Mr. Nobody comes in.
But this goes on for a long time.
It does go on for a while. And then Mr. Nobody and his dog come in and they get involved. And then for just a couple of seconds, the overhead goes back.
Right.
And I wish they had held on it for just like a minute or two longer, but almost as soon as John and Mr. Nobody engage again, the scene goes back to normal. I'm like, I wish you guys had kept going, like have them do a little cat and mouse overhead. That would have been really cool. It didn't last long.
But they still had a good back and forth.
They did, but I wanted them to last overhead a little bit longer.
Right.
So that was it. Oh, Hong Kong Massacre.
Hong Kong Massacre. Thank you, Finkster. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely got some hard-boiled vibes, which to some is one of the greatest action movies of all time. And I'm not going to argue with that because hard-boiled is all you younglings that are brought in with the John Wick franchise. Check out a little movie called Hard Boiled. Came out in the early 90s. I think it was like 91. Check out The Killer and check from the 80s and check out the Hard Boiled. Fascinating stuff. Still some of the best action period of all time. But back to this.
So at this point,
amazing.
After the phone conversation, the bounty is now up to 40 million, and because there's at this point. The duel is approaching at 6:03 at sunrise.
Time running out.
Marquis has unleashed so many people to stop John from getting to the duel point, but it's not working because he's fighting his way up to the location of the duel. And so Mr. Nobody finally has the bounty that he's willing to accept. Him and Wick start going at it hand to hand.
Yeah.
And
Wick gets the better of him.
Right.
At some point.
But Margot Zaror, who just won't fucking die.
I love it.
Chidi will not die in this movie.
Yeah.
He comes in and he ends up getting attacked by the dog, which he gets the upper hand, and he's about to shoot the dog. John Wick's got the upper hand on Mr. Nobody.
Yeah.
He sees Chidi's about to shoot the dog, and we all know how John Wick feels about
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
And he shoots Chidi. Chidi's not dead. Chidi gets shot a couple times, falls down some stairs.
Yeah.
He's not fucking dead. It's the suit.
That's
right.
Suit.
The suit.
Don't ask questions now.
But yeah. And so it's been well established at this point that Mr. Nobody loves that fucking dog.
Oh yeah.
The dog is.
He's there for the dog.
He loves the dog.
Yeah.
And he even has a sketch. He has the sketchbook that he has with bounties, and he has a sketch of John Wick, and he has a sketch of his dog in there. I think it looks like his dog. I don't know if it's
really quick.
Like
Great comment there, Rue. They brought the song back from the first movie. So good. But yeah, go ahead.
So once Wick shoots Chidi and gets him away from the dog, and Mr. Nobody realizes,
he saved my dog.
Saved my
best
life.
Friend. Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, moral conundrum.
Yeah.
And Wick just fucks off out of that building.
Yeah.
And then
we get to the after jumping out of the window and falling 2 stories. And the audience reaction to that was hilarious.
The second time was really funny.
The audience reaction to that was really funny.
The second time we had a really, really small audience because we went to an early show.
Yeah.
And when he fell out of the building, there was this one guy who was like, come on. It's like, well, I mean, But yeah, so the clock is ticking. It's getting closer and closer to 6:03.
And we're still not done. We're still not done.
Yeah.
Spoiling the audience who are action and martial arts movie fans.
So we get to the steps of, what is it, the Sakrakua?
Yes, and we have this insane step.
It's like 260 some odd steps that you have to traverse to get up to the location.
Yes.
And he looks up and he's like, oh boy. So he starts slowly Keanuing up the steps. And
this action set piece, he gets all the way to the top. And then as soon as he gets to that top, Marcus Zaror teleports there with his crew, knocks them all the way down. And oh man, I mean, the falls these stuntmen took are just, it's phenomenal. But no, fuck this movie, 0 stars because there's no cops. But yeah, I mean, it's just phenomenal stuff. And then, and the audience reaction to him falling on the steps is hilarious too, because they're like, oh my God, what the fuck? And then we get a little bonus. Donnie Yen shows up. He's like, look, man, look, motherfucker. I need to protect my daughter. Okay. I need you to make it up those steps. So they tag team out of WWE. They tags Donnie Yen, baby. And they tag team their way up the steps again. And we keep going. And Donnie Yen and Zeror throw down a little bit more. And of course, the dog gets the upper hand on some nuts. And poor Chidi gets his nuts fucked up. And then Mr. Nobody takes him out he's like, what do you say? He's like, this is for hitting my dog or something like that.
You hit my dog.
You hit my dog. And then we just amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. And then we finally get to the final duel, straight out of a spaghetti Western style with that music score and just suspense building. And they shoot him and Donnie and
this first starts
Kane.
It first starts at 30 paces.
Right.
You have the seconds that give them 1 bullet per, obviously. And 30 paces, they fire. And 1 bullet goes here, 1 bullet goes there.
Yeah.
At first it's an arm and an arm. And then they have to go to 20 paces. So they get the bullet, fire. And another one in the side, and then another one in another non-vital area, or in the shoulder.
So closer,
the other one for John was here, and the other one was, they're all like non-vital areas. And so the third time, Winston goes up to John, and he's like, "Just kill him."
Just kill him. Please.
But your favorite part, I think everybody's favorite part, was the Marquis going up to Kane.
Oh God!
Remember your daughter.
Fuck off! Oh, the audience loved that as well.
Yeah,
I love that stuff, man. So good. So good.
Yeah.
And then,
so at the 10 paces, at this point, neither one of them want to kill each other, but they know there's really no way out. John's been kind of mulling this over in his head the whole time.
Yeah,
and John goes, those who cling to life die, and then those who cling to death live.
Oh, we forgot about this.
Oh, what?
A dog urinating.
Yeah.
Cheaty, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So 10 paces fire.
Yeah.
And you notice that John falls over with a wound to the side, but Kane is suspiciously without a third wound. Well, we noticed that. Winston notices that, but the pompous Marquis de asshole doesn't notice that. And he goes, "I claim the coup de grace." And he takes the last bullet and he goes, "Ah ha ha, give me that gun." Yeah. And Kane goes, "Me and my daughter free?" And he's like, "Yeah, get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
So he walks up and in pompous
John
asshole fashion,
Yeah.
Winston goes, "You pompous asshole. He didn't fire." And John Wick sits up and goes,
"Consequences."
Yeah.
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 Boom, blows his head away. Audience loved it, cheered.
Yeah.
And it was so good. It was so good. I think even Clancy Brown, did he have like a smirk on his face? He was just kind of like, "You idiot."
Yeah.
He's like, "You idiot, Marquise."
Yeah.
Just great way.
Yeah.
Great way to end the duel. And he gets his kill. He kills the guy, and
everybody's free.
Kane and his daughter are free, and
John is technically free. Winston get his hotel
Winston's
back.
free. He gets his hotel and status back.
And it's all at the expense of the table.
Right.
They're going to give him his status and his table, and they have to pay for everything.
But that last fire from Kane, that last shot, was pretty vital.
And the tracker was also sitting on the side watching.
And when got killed, Skarsgård,
he seemed really disappointed when he thought that John had lost in the end. But
But the tracker was laughing. He was like, "That was pretty good," when they fooled but that last shot from Kane was vital, and so Winston looks at John in a weird way.
They always have that thing.
Yeah.
Winston, Jonathan.
Yeah.
They've had that thing since the first movie.
Yeah.
And John's like, "Will you take me home?" And Winston kind of looks at him and looks at the wound in his side, and he's like, "Of course." And then you see John kind of stagger down the steps a little bit, and you see him look over to the sun that's rising, and he has this flash in his head of his wife, and he just kind of slumps over
Yeah, slumps over, man.
And at this point, the first time watching it, I'm like thinking in my head, well, we've got a 5th movie coming, because at this point
we didn't know about the
And
we
now
still thought it was going to be a 2-parter.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Watching it a second time, I also know that money talks and bullshit walks. And we all know that this movie hasn't even been released in South Korea yet. And as far as I know, it hasn't yet been released in Japan.
Oh,
so these
really?
movies have these movies have not raked in.
Oh my God, it's going to make way more money.
These movies,
which I'm all for.
Yeah, these movies have not raked in. All the monies yet.
Right, all the monies yet.
Yeah, this movie killed it opening weekend. It did the best for the John Wick franchise.
Right.
For opening weekend.
Right.
So.
But it did feel like the death was a little abrupt. It did feel that way.
Yeah.
But they kind of, and then it's like they go to the gravesite and you see they're looking at him and the Bowery King, Winston and Bowery King are there.
Right.
And they're looking at the gravesite.
The king's got
the
John's dog.
Yeah, John's dog. And they're looking at the gravestone next to his John Wick's wife.
Right.
And it says on his stone, loving husband.
Right.
And I don't remember what did he say to him?
He said, "Where do you think he is, heaven or hell?" And Winston goes, "Who knows?"
Right. And then they walk away together.
And King is laughing. And you see the dog.
The dog looks to his left a little bit.
And it's like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
But again, my problem is that I feel like the ending could have been for John. And this is a nitpick for me personally.
Okay.
I feel like if this had been a true ending, the death scene could have been a little bit stretched out, have a little more wind blowing, have a little more beauty, like the trees, cherry blossoms, like flying over in the sky.
But it didn't have that, so 0 stars.
I know, right? Have the
and the sunset VFX was bad, so 0 stars. Fuck this movie.
So and then again, knowing that a 5th movie is always on the table if this movie makes a lot of money, because we can't just let things go.
Right.
So I want this to be the last movie.
I hope it's the end. I hope.
And do all the spinoffs you want. The Continental's back.
Well, everybody wants that Kane spinoff. We want the Kane spinoff.
We have the end credit sequence, which we were talking about, where I was like, the first time we watched it, the credits started to roll. And I was like, and we were talking about the potential for future movies, because we already know the Ballerina is coming out, and it's already in the can. It's just a matter of post-production.
Right. And
we were talking, and he was like, "Oh, well, maybe what could they possibly do in the future?" And I was like, "Well, you remember what Akira told John Wick on the subway? How if you don't kill Kane, I'm going to."
That's right.
Kane is still alive right now. And this is the first time we watched the movie. I said, Kane is still alive. And lo and behold, as soon as the credits stop rolling, you see Kane listening to his daughter play the violin. And I'm like, here we go. And you see Akira, who's pretty much better now. Yeah. And she brandishes a knife, fade to black, cut to black. Right. It's like, ha ha ha. Like, again, do all the spinoffs you want, but let John Wick die. Motherfucker, he's done enough.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you guys have heard or know about this. If you guys really know what happened, please let us know. Because apparently there was another ending to this movie. Chad briefly talks about it. And apparently the audience erupted and they were fucking pissed. They did not like this other ending. They were fucking pissed. So Chad was like, all right, let's make some changes, which could be believed why things feel a little abrupt in this one, because maybe he had to cut and change whatever he had to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys know. So if you guys really know what the other ending was, please let us know or message me on Facebook or Instagram later.
Yeah.
But apparently the audience was not happy. They were fucking pissed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what could have happened? He said he lived.
He said
why would that? Why
he
would
made it even more ambiguous about if he was alive or dead, and that's why you see the dog look off to the side. But for some reason, the dog still made it in the final cut. See, here's my thing. I would have preferred one of two things. Yeah. Either let him be dead and stay dead, and make the death a little bit more drawn out, a little bit more sad, a little bit more final and concrete.
Yeah.
Or give him the ambiguous, is he dead, is he not, but make that a little bit more obvious.
Okay.
Because now I feel like we're in the middle.
Which may have also be on purpose.
And I don't like that kind of ending. I either want a finality or it's obvious that you remember, what was it? The Hemsworth movie.
I still want to know, like what could have made the people. You talking about Extraction?
Yeah.
Right.
where that ending was like,
it looked like that motherfucker.
Well, it seemed
dead.
like he was dead, but by the end of it, it was like, oh, he's still alive.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, fine.
Right.
So now we're getting a sequel. Cool. Even though I would have preferred if he had died, because that type of movie, it was fine if he died.
Right.
But by the end of it, it was like, oh,
I want this to be the end as well for at least Wick's character.
Yeah.
We don't want to milk it too much. And of course, I mean, let's look at. I mean, Rick Myers mentioned this yesterday. Look at the action set pieces themselves. They went all out. There's nowhere else to go with Wick at the helm.
And you're almost running out of
because you're going to run out of ideas of how to make the action sequences bigger and better and better. They went all out for this.
And you're almost running out of martial arts legends to put in your roster.
Right.
Like,
right.
Who else are you going to get at this point? Like a lot
I did hear about this too. I've seen a lot of projects for Chad. So it doesn't look like, I think we're safe as of right now, or maybe for the next couple of years, that there won't be another Wick movie. Maybe most likely be Wick spinoffs. But here's the thing. I'm scared for these Wick spinoffs if Chad is not doing them. If Chad and 8711 are not doing these Wick spinoffs, I'm scared.
Imagine what
Len Wiseman, the Underworld director, is the one doing Ballerina. Now, hopefully 8711 is still involved, at least with the action set pieces, because I'm still kind of, you know what I mean? And Tony John Iko Uwais, they're in Expendables 4 this year, right? I believe they're in there. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can do. There's never an end of be all with action sequences, but you could tell the action sequences in this movie are so good that they were like, try to top that. Good luck. That was the point of them. But I hope this is the end. But let's have some fun. Rating. Now don't give us your ranking yet. Don't do it yet until you see. So we start our video and you see the rank logo come up. Then rank in chat your ranking of all four films. There's no wrong answer. Okay, all four of these movies are great for what they are. And then I want to put them on screen before we end the stream tonight. I want to have some fun with you guys. I want to interact because you guys are awesome. All right. So we're going to go ahead and give our ranking and rating of the film before we play the special guest video. But before we do that, just for fun, Samurai Guy did a little poll on the channel just for fun. So let's see what the public thought. So 191 votes. The public said, fuck John Wick Chapter 2 and fuck John Wick Chapter 3. But you know what makes me so happy? Is look at how close 4 is to 1. That's how you know it's a good movie. So that's what the public has voted on the channel. But I'm going to show you Lady Fatblood's ranking numbers and what she rated the movie. Remember, this is the Movie Dojo, son. So we do two ratings. We rate the movie, we give the movie a grade, and we give the action a grade as well. And don't forget, here on the channel, C is average. Okay.
I have some explaining to do, though.
What do you mean?
Why do you have to explain? I have to explain my rating.
Explain it already?
No, I need to explain my rating.
Your ranking or your rating?
My rankings of the movie.
Okay, your ranking. Okay, explain your ranking.
Okay. So you can put it up if you want.
All right.
How do you want to do this?
No, explain first and then I'll put it up.
Okay. So when the way I enjoy certain films, and I'm going to go back to Nathan, who compared the fourth movie to Avengers Endgame.
Right.
Which I enjoy also. And I agree this is a bit Endgame-ish in how they just put everything into this movie. And it's satisfying.
Right.
When I view my favorite Marvel movies, it's like there's a few that come to mind. It's like Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. Okay. Those are like among my favorites. Okay. Like the heavy hitters, right?
Okay.
Between the two, Endgame and Infinity War is my favorite.
Okay.
Between the two. But Endgame is more satisfying, if that makes sense.
Conclusion, yeah.
Because of the conclusion.
Right.
Okay. But overall, out of those 4 movies, The Winter Soldier is still my favorite movie. Now, I'm not saying it's the best movie. Right. It's my personal favorite.
Well, that's what this is anyway.
Okay. But so when I
like
talk
I said,
about,
there's no right or wrong here.
When I talk about why I love in this particular order, we're talking negligible. Like if you can see like that, we're talking it's by a hair length. Okay. So my ranking for the franchise as of right now is 1, 2, 4, and 3. Okay, but we're talking 1 and 2 and 4 is like that. Okay, here's why. 1 and 2 I feel like are almost two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Where 1, I love it because it's so simple and it's so grounded, and it's such this came out of nowhere film that just surprised the hell out of everybody and me included. Never would have seen it coming in a million years. And rewatching it again, I love this little introduction. You get this little peek into this world that exists.
Yeah.
Okay. And I love how simple and basic it is. And then you go into 2, which takes place right after 1. And what does it do? It opens up that world that we've been introduced to.
Right.
And it expands on the story. And it's this natural progression, which is what I love in sequels. It's everything you want from a sequel. You want this natural progression. You don't want the same thing that you got in the first movie. You want a progression. You want world building. You want to open up. And that's what 2 did. And I adore the uneasiness of the ending of part 2. Part 2, John Wick, he kills that motherfucker that he had the
on continental grounds,
right? And he kills him, like he doesn't even let him finish his sentence, and he's like, "Nope, bye." And he's like, Winston's like, "John, you're excommunicado, motherfucker. What are you doing?" Right. And as of the end of that movie, Winston kind of like gives him a head start. He's like, "I'm sorry. This is the best I can do for you." And the end of that movie, there's the music starts to come up, and there's this tension in the end of the movie where John Wick's future is so uncertain. And I love endings like that. The ending for John Wick 2 is my kind of ending, where it's kind of like why I love the Two Towers so much.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Why I'm not saying it's the best movie, but I love that type of ending where it's just like, ooh, it's just this uneasy, like
uncertain and
like
uneasy.
The Empire Strikes Back type of ending where it's like, what's gonna happen next, right?
Yeah.
So
that means you're invested. That means you care.
Right. So 4 is the culmination of everything that's come before it. And again, we're talking negligible. Like it's not even like
all of these movies are great in their own ways for different reasons. There's no wrong ranking.
It's not even like I like this one so much more than this one. It's not even like that. It's like it's literally like no. It's like
all right. So now I'm gonna play this here. Here we go. So boom.
Right.
There's Lady Fat Blood's ranking.
And that's not an A. That's not an A minus. That is an A. That is a solid A.
Yeah.
And
she gives the movie an A and the action an A plus for John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Very well done. Very well done. I thought you were going to give it an F because there were no cops in the movie. All right. Nobody stopped the cars during the act. That's it. That's it. Fuck it. F minus. All right. Now I'm not gonna explain too long. You guys already know. You already know I'm an action guy. You know I'm an action guy. Love John Wick. We went to go see John Wick. Me and my buddy Chris. We went to go see John Wick, the first one, because we were bored. We didn't really know it was going to be a good movie. And we were blown away by the action set pieces. We were like, wow. When we rewatched it recently in 4K, I was laughing hysterically. I don't know if you guys knew this, but the first John Wick movie is a comedy. It's sad what happens to the dog and everything, but the villain is fucking hilarious. Watch it for the villain.
Yeah, I heard you just beat the shit out of my son. Yes, sir, I did. Why is that? He shot John Wick's dog and stole his car. Oh.
It's hilarious, man. That villain in that first movie is fucking hilarious. But yeah, I love all these movies for different reasons. You guys know this. And if we ever rank these, all these movies are so good and so much fun that if we did this again 2 years from now, we could have a different ranking. But as of right now, this is where Samurai Guy's at, okay? My ranking, 3, 2, 4, 1. Number 1, John Wick Chapter 4 is my favorite as of right now, and I'm giving the movie an A+, baby. And I'm giving an action an A+, and let me tell you why. Not just because I enjoyed the film.
How is it?
What?
4-1?
Yes, number 1 is John Wick Chapter 4.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Number 2 is John Wick 2. Number 3 is the first one, and number 4, the last, is my least favorite, even though I love parts of it.
The way it was structured.
It's fine. I think they're smart enough to get it.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna tell you why I give it an A+ for the movie and the action. It's not just because I love the film and not just because I enjoyed it. It's because of this. despite the talent that was a part of this project, the filmmaking talent, the stuntman talent, the acting talent, despite all of that coming together that helped make this movie, there was no goddamn guarantee it would have been good. All of these legends in this film are given respect, especially in an American movie. They're all been given respect, a chance to act, a chance to shine, a chance to show why they're legends. Do you know how wrong this could have been? Even though if you think about it, it would have been a guarantee. Oh, well, it's Chad's a part of it. It's a guarantee. 8711's a part of it. It's a guarantee. It's going to be great. There are no guarantees because we have seen so many movies where we have these high expectations because of the talent involved, and it was disappointing or it pissed us off and we were let down. Samurai Guy was not let down, baby.
Mm-mm.
Samurai Guy was satisfied with all of the action, all of the characters, the story, the cinematography, the music, the editing, showing the action, not fucking with the audience and treating them stupid by fucking treating them like idiots. Okay? Respecting the audience and be like, oh, hey, if we show the action and we don't fuck it up in post-editing, or we don't fuck it up while filming it badly, let's respect the audience. Let's let them enjoy and bask.
Yeah.
And what these badass martial artists and actors and filmmakers and stuntmen are working so hard. You see them bumps? Some stuntmen fell down the stairs and all that. They're working their asses off, putting their bodies on the line for our enjoyment, for our entertainment. And like I said, there was no guarantee this was going to be great. And the fact that it was great is why I rate both the movie and the action an A+. Thank you for tuning in. No, I'm not leaving. But let's have some fun here. And again, don't put your ratings in yet. I'm about to play the video right now. Once I hit play on our guest ranking videos, shout out to all these legends that have participated in this. I thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Once you see ranked pop up, I want you guys to start going. Put your ranking in chat, and I'm going to put it up on the screen afterwards. All right. So let's have some fun here, and let's keep on going. Hold on. We got to get it going. We got to get it going here. Hold on a second here. All right. I got to do screen share for this one. So hold on. Oh, we got to put our headphones on.
That's what I was asking.
Got to put our headphones on. Here we go. We got to get it going because this is special. This is special. All right, we got to do some screen share option here. Boom, bam. We're gonna bring it up. Once I hit play, guys, let us know in chat your ranking. Hold on, let me blow it up. Make sure it's full screen for chat watching. All the legends. There we go. Let's make sure we get it full screen. And I'm gonna mute us.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna mute us. All right, here you go, guys. As soon as I hit play, let us know your ranking of all 4 films. From most favorite to least favorite. Let us know in chat, and I'm going to put it on screen afterwards. Here we go, baby. Let's have some fun.
So what's up, you movie-loving badasses? It's your boy Ninette from Berlin, Germany. I'm going to rank the John Wick franchise now for you. Number 4 is number 2. Number 3 is number 3. Number 2 is number 4. And number 1, the classic, is for me number 1 because I love that fucking movie so much.
Hey, Movie W Army. This is Jake. My ranking for the John Wicks are 4, John Wick 3, then 2, then 1, and then my number 1 is John Wick 4.
Hello there, it's Kevin Lambert from Kevin Lambert Entertainment Reviews, and I'm going to give you my ranking from least favorite to favorite in the John Wick franchise. Chapter 3, Chapter 2, Chapter 1, and of course the best of the best, Chapter 4. And this guy right there, I think he agrees with me.
Hi guys, it's Therese from Silver Harvest. Here's my quick ranking of all the John Wick movies, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, even though the first John Wick movie will always have a special place in my heart, not only because of the cute little puppy, but the introduction of action, almost bringing back the likes of John Woo-esque action. The second, third, and fourth just keeps upping the ante, expanding the scale, especially with the third, bringing along Mark Dacascos and Cesar Peña, badasses of Indonesia. And the fourth, you just have to see it for yourself.
For Preston, the Samurai Guy, for this weekend, my ranking of the John Wick franchise is number 4 is John Wick Chapter 2. Number 3 is John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Number 2 is Chapter 4. And number 1 is John Wick. I just love the original movie, but all movies are awesome. So thank you.
Hi, Preston. Thanks for asking me to rank the John Wick films. For me, the original is the best. I walked straight out the cinema, went to the kiosk, brought another ticket and watched it again. That film absolutely wowed me. In second place, it has to be number 4. Donnie Yen stole the show for me in that. And obviously Scott Adkins was great, unrecognisable. Third place has to be number 3. Absolutely loved that film. It is just as good as the fourth, but I think the characters in the fourth one just topped that for me in number 3. And in last place is number 2. It had its moments, but I didn't enjoy that as much as the other 3. Hope that helps. That's my ranking. Thank you very much for asking me to do it. As I said earlier, speak soon.
Alex Chung here, ranking John Wick movies from least favorite to most favorite. John Wick 1, John Wick 3, John Wick 2, and at the top, John Wick 4. Best action.
Hey, Dojo Army. So, my pick for ranking of the 4 John Wick movies. Number 1, John Wick. Number 2, John Wick 2. Number 3 is John Wick 4. And the last one is John Wick 3. Thanks, guys.
How's it going, everybody? This is Toon Chanda, actor, martial artist, filmmaker. Today, I have been asked by a friend of mine, Preston, the PhatSamuraiGuy, for me to rank the John Wick franchise. I'm going to be ranking the John Wick franchise by the storyline and the fights and stuff scene. Okay, so part 1, chapter 1, I rank it 8.5 story, 8.5 fight scenes. Part 2, 8.5 story, 8.5 fight scene stunts. Chapter 3, of course, Mark Dacascos, we got Mad Dog, everybody was in there. I give the fight scene 9 out of 10 with and stunts, and then the storyline 8.5 out of 10. And chapter 4, with Donnie Yen and everybody, Scott Adkins, and all the people in there, right? They were very excellent. Fight scenes, I give it a commendable of 10 out of 10. Okay, and with the stunts too. So 10 out of 10 on that. And for the storyline, 9 out of 10. I'm looking forward for the spin-off, Donnie Yen, chapter 5, Chad. Call me up. I'm a martial artist too, and an actor. Hey, watch this. Watch what I can do. All right, see you guys. Peace out.
Hey, Fat Samurai Guy, Javon Wallace here. And here's my rankings for the best martial arts series in all of cinema, the John Wick series. Starting from the bottom, I have John Wick Chapter 2, then followed by John Wick Chapter 1, then followed by John Wick Chapter 3, then the obvious John Wick Chapter 4. There it is. There's my ranking for the best martial arts series in cinema. So long, my friend.
Hi guys, Ranji Jesmo here. This is me ranking all the 4 John Wick movies, what I think are the best. John Wick Chapter 4, John Wick Chapter 3, John Wick Chapter 1, and John Wick 2. So 4, 3, 1, and 2 are my favorite in that particular order.
John Wick. So the first film gets 9 out of 10. The second film, 8 out of 10. The third film, 9 out of 10. And the last film, 10 out of 10.
Hello, Frank Jang here. I'm in New York City. I'm here to rank the 4 John Wick films. The last one will be number 3. I like the first half, great action, but I didn't like the characters and the new characters. They had a better character than the new characters. For me, it's hard to choose between 2 and 1, but I'm going to put 2 above 1 because I always like a sequel where they expand on the universe and the world building. And of course, number 1 choice would be the latest one, John Wick 4, great action, great in the top 3, epic series 3. I was like, so my ranking from top to bottom will be 4, 2, 1, 3. Bye-bye.
Sorry, guys. I was so excited. I had it still on mute there. All right. Again, rewind.
Cut.
That was awesome. Again, a big shout out to all the filmmakers, the stuntmen, the badasses. Yeah, you guys are. Thanks again for doing this. You guys are amazing, and of course, are the Movie Dojo Army members, son, the certified badass channel members. That's right. Thank you again for participating for this video. You guys are awesome. See, I was so excited. I was like, God damn it. But this was an absolute blast. You guys are awesome. Oh, I forgot one more thing. For the Movie Dojo episodes, we rank the movie, we rate the action, but we have an MVP award every episode. I'm going to start doing more of now. And of course, y'all know who the MVP is. Donnie Yen. That's right. Kane's son gets the MVP award of the film. All right. That is it. Hey, I hope you guys had fun here. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All that good stuff. Look above. Hit that join option or go over there on Patreon and see if you want to become a member for some exclusive perks, exclusive movie reviews, and all that good stuff. You guys are all legends. Thank you so much. We are honored to have you guys here to hear us rant, hoop, and go crazy because we love talking about cinema with you guys, and we love hearing you guys. Don't worry. I'm going to put some of your ranking up here. I didn't forget. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. So really quick before we end it, I got to put you guys' ranking up here. So Lady Danish's ranking, boom, bam, bam, bada, bing. There we go. We got Lady Danish right there. Boris the Blade. That's a cool fucking name. Oh, look at his ranking. I love it. We got Geeky Andre's ranking here. Love it. NSG's ranking. Yo, all right. There we go. Jissa's ranking there. Nice. We got Skyla's ranking here. Shout out to Skyla, best to worst. Yeah, you guys got some great rankings here. Here's Justin's here. Nice. I love it. Let me go back up here. Boom. Atario's ranking. Love it. We got the Finkstonators ranking right here. Love it. Best to worst from Come On, Man. Love that. Love that. Oh, yeah. Let me see. I think that's it. I'm going to go all the way up just in case you had some early rankings. I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Let me go up. Oh, man, we had a lot here. We had a lot of comments here, but I think that is it. But oh, my goodness. We just got a new certified channel badass member. Are you, son? Thank you so much. You know what, are you? You know what? You're so awesome. You know what? You're getting the Redford.
Oh my God.
All right, guys. You guys are awesome. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys on the next one. Let me make sure I'm not missing any more rankings.
Let me also just say,
which one?
When
here's Nina's ranking again. There you go.
When it comes to a franchise like this,
yeah,
to go in, I said something similar to this in our spoiler-free review. To go in with such ridiculously high expectations,
yes,
and not be disappointed, it's so rare.
Yes,
I was not disappointed. Yeah, the ending was a little, but it could have been so much worse.
Oh yeah,
and to have a franchise like this, where you have to struggle to kind of like rank the movies because they each have something so good about them.
Yeah,
those are the kind of problems you want to have. It's so rare where you have a franchise consisting of 4 movies, and not one of them are trash. John Wick 3 is not my favorite movie,
right?
But it's not a bad movie.
It's still kick-ass.
It's got some things that irritate me about it.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad movie.
Right. Oh my goodness, we got another badass certified channel member. That's right. Sorry if I botched your name, but thank you so much. You get. This is how excited we are that you're a channel member. You get the sexy sumo. Yeah, baby. You get the sumo. But yeah, before we end it, was there anything else?
No.
Oh my goodness.
It's nice to have a franchise like this.
Yes.
That it's treated us well.
Yes.
I think it's served us well.
Yes. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being new channel members. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. Share this video. Get it out there, guys. Get it out there. We really appreciate that. And we have fun here. We have fun here. All right, guys. Thank you so much again for the 5 billionth time. We'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.